I had to re-record this because my brother interrupted me. I am talking about many things. I'm tired. I'm just fucking tired. I'm tired of the anime community. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. So I'm going to go over a lot in this rant. I decided to use a black screen because I'm going to post this on Twitter, finally. And I don't want people seeing my face. They can, unless they're interested in the fucking other videos I make, which they won't. And then I guess you can watch my rants, but, so Yasuke. I said I wouldn't go over localization unless it blew up, and this kind of plays into that. The entire Assassin's Creed, Yasuke issue has blown up in Japan on Japanese Twitter. It's being constantly tweeted about right now. And, it's gotten so bad that Ubisoft had to apologize because the fucking Japanese government got involved. And now, as for Yasuke, my opinion on it, I do not care if he is portrayed as a samurai. We don't know if he was a samurai. None of us were alive in, 1500s when Oda Nobunaga existed. But I do not think we should be going on the Wikipedia pages and fucking with history. That's what annoys me. I love Japanese history. I like Showa era. People lived through that. None of us lived back in Oda Nobunaga's day. It's just highly unlikely Yasuke was a samurai. I mean, if in the 1700s African Americans were being treated fucking horribly, how do you think they would have treated an African man in fucking feudal Japan? Let's not get mixed up here. Let's use common sense. It's not racism. It's just how the world worked back then. It's I'm sorry, the world is different now. Or it's just, the world was different then. I think that's more like the way to say it. It's just how history works. I mean, if he couldn't even own land, if an African-American couldn't own land back then, how could you think a fucking African could own land in Japan? It's like Thomas Lockley is admitting, it depends on who the audience is, and his book is different in Japanese, but he's pushing for that Western audience, and it's annoying. It's and Japan is picking up on that. There's Japanese economists and scholars talking about that, and not white-wing people, people with professions in Japan are no, we don't know this isn't necessarily true. They seem to think that Japan had slaves at some point, even though that is not true. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. What else? Let's talk about AI. So, new anime came out. I forgot what it's called. It's that girl with deer antlers that everyone's talking about. And people thought it was AI subtitles. Now I want to go over AI art as well, because I keep seeing all the shitting on AI art, and I understand to a degree. I like drawing. I like experimenting with AI art. I like doing both because, in my opinion, art is meant to express ideas. It is meant, if you have a creative idea, you expressing that in some way is art. AI, just because it's generating something, that doesn't mean your idea isn't being expressed. That doesn't mean, you're not thinking of something that's creative. That doesn't mean you're not. And, I get it, they just type prompts and stuff. And, yes, I understand that. It's but art expresses ideas. I mean, if you want to make something, just see something cool that's expressing an idea. That's how art has always existed. It's just to express an emotion or an idea. And AI still does that. And yes, it may look different. It's going to get better eventually. Look at how shit it was when it started out in like 2016. It looked fucking weird as fuck. And now it's gotten to the point where it can make capable images. For the most part. It's like, yes, I prefer hand-drawn stuff, but like, it's creation. Like, I don't think it's somehow soulless because someone wanted to express an idea, or someone who couldn't express the idea in the way they wanted used AI as just a simple tool, like a paintbrush, to do it. And I understand why people hate it, but people are desperate, bro. That's all I gotta say. People want to tell stories, people want to make art, or draw something, or see something cool, or express an idea, which is what art is. And that's fine with me. That's getting off the point. Just another mini rant. I support some AI art. I don't support all of it, but I also support hand-drawn artists. I don't even want to go into the copyright shit or the reference shit. I don't even know how that's gonna fucking work. And they thought this new Deer anime was using AI subtitles, when most of the people, there's some people on Reddit and some people on my Discord who are like, this was most likely like just a very stupid rush job. Like, there's no way AI did this. It wouldn't make these kinds of mistakes. This was a rush job by someone, probably a non-English speaker, probably someone Japanese, and they just got it onto the market. And people assumed it was AI because it was so bad. Now, I've read fucking entire manga with AI, and it works fine. Like, some dipshit was saying, like, we don't need Google translated manga. And I said, well, I've read some manga that will never be translated on Google Translate, and I picked up on the context fine. He's like, are you on crack? It's like, motherfucker, no. I just wanted to read something cool, and I read it. And it's not coming out here, so I took the best alternative besides learning Japanese, and that was to use Google Translate. Now, some of my favorite manga have been read that way. It's not my fault. I have different taste than you, or I have better standards. And that's the other thing. Like, I really hope, and it gives me hope, since so many people are talking about Yasuke on Japanese Twitter, it's no longer like, you can no longer use the excuse like they were using in fucking January. These are people LARPing as Japanese. It's like, no, everyone on fucking Japanese Twitter is talking about it. Go look up Yasuke in Japanese on Twitter right now. It's going to be like hundreds of thousands of posts are about it. It's insanity that it blew up this much. It gives me hope that localization can be fixed. Just very minuscule hope. And yet I still, like, people say the localization for that was an AI, yet they still defend localizers. They're like, it's just such a valuable process. And I'm like, yes, it is. Why aren't they doing it correctly? Like, they just can't. They're incapable. There are people out there who have, like, PhDs in Japanese art history who aren't localizing manga. People like Zach Davidson and Ryan Holmberg, I love using those examples, who are fucking translating manga. Like Gekiga shit. Doing shit like Space Battleship Yamato and Captain Harlock and fucking entire history books in the form of manga about the Showa era. Because they have that experience. They lived in Japan. They can speak Japanese. What the fuck do localizers have? They have jack shit. They don't have anything. And yes, there are people who learn Japanese to translate it and shit like that. There's translators, there's fucking script adapters, there's this whole process. But, like, fucking why? Why is this what we have come to accept? Like, why do we want this? Why are we purposefully accepting shit? Do we just see something that's supposedly funny, and for like a single second we laugh, and then we just move on? Why? Why the fuck were they using Urban Dictionary as a reference for the fucking Hajimete no Gal dub? Why the fuck are they referencing shit like Donald Trump and pedophiles in a show about a guy trying to get laid? Why are they referencing shit like SJWs? Why are they referencing all this shit? Where in the Japanese is this present? Is that even adapting language? It's not. It's a bullshit excuse. It's not adapting shit. They're just adding it because they can get one singular laugh or like a chuckle and laugh behind the scenes for like 2 minutes and they move on with their life. They do not care. I hate to tell this to dub fans because I like some dubs. I do. They do not care about you. They never have. They're not going to. Maybe they used to care about you. Hell, I'd even argue with people like Carl Masick, who made Robotech. People like Peter Fernandez. People who did Star Blazers. I'd argue they cared about you. Or Carl Masick is debatable. But Peter Fernandez did a great job. Star Blazers kept all the original music, all the original themes. And it's just, people still shit on it for changing names. And like, at least they're not adding fucking stupid language that doesn't make any sense. It's just, it's fucking, why are we accepting it? I don't understand. Like, why? We keep seeing the same 50 actors in every single dub. And we're just fine with it. There's no range in the performances. There's none. It's the same voice. It's the same shonen protagonist voice. It's always Monica Rial. It's always fucking J. Michael Tatum. It's always Jamie Markey. It's always Tia Ballard. It's always Brittany Karbowski. It's always fucking... Well, I like those guys. I like Greg Ayers and Todd Haberkorn. They're nice guys. It's always fucking Johnny Young Bosch. It's always fucking Jesse Grell. It's everyone. It's just the same type. It's the same people. And it's not like they vary in their performances. It's just their speaking voice. It's literally their speaking voice. And they add a different inflection to their speaking voice. And that's voice acting, apparently. And it's not like fucking Japan has twice as many actors over the course of twice as many years as you do. It's not like they have hundreds of more actors in Japan. It's not like they have entire schools for voice acting because seiyuu is a profession. It's not like they have actors who've been since the 60s and still going, and they keep adding new ones every single year. And dubs, it's just the same people. And you're just an elitist. You just like watching dubs. You just like watching subs, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm not going to watch something if the same people are doing it all the time. I'm not. It's taking me out of the show. I just hear the actors. I do not hear the characters. Is that not fair criticism? Like, I do not get why dub watchers want to die on this hill that we need these same actors. We don't, and they're like, we add new ones constantly. Why the fuck, if you're adding new ones, why does you add new ones constantly is what you say, and yet the range and the emotion remains the same. And yet I go to fucking Japanese voice acting and people will argue it sounds the same. And it's like, no, it fucking doesn't. There's several different actors with several different inflections and several different accents and dialects and shit for all the different characters they play. And fucking America, it's just the same fucking 50 people from Texas. Why? I understand that, like, they can't get anything. They're non-union, I believe. That's why dubs like Pluto on Netflix get actual fucking voice actors who are talented. I'm sorry if that offended people, but, like, I can't keep hearing Monica Rial and Jamie Markey and J. Michael Tatum, and I gotta keep thinking. There's so many fucking people. It's like, I can literally name Caitlin Glass, Tia Ballard, fucking Sonny Strait, Chris Sabat. I can name, it's so common. I can name like 10 of these people off the top of my head without even trying. I don't do that with Seiyu unless I really like them. And no, it has nothing to do with their names being Japanese. It's like, why do we want shit like Shin-Chan and Ghost Stories? Why do we crave shit like Panty and Stocking? Is it really that good? Is it really improving upon the source material? I keep mentioning Ghost Stories, but it has to be said. And I know, I will die on this hill. I will constantly die on this hill. People are constantly talking about how Ghost Stories is improving English dubs. And yes, there is evidence that it did not fail in Japan. It perhaps could have failed in foreign markets like Hong Kong and Singapore. There was perhaps a loose licensing fee. But do you really think Japan had direct oversight over the Ghost Stories dub and told them to do whatever the fuck they want? Japan doesn't even care about the Western market. Japan has such a fucking massive industry over there. They much care about what's going over here. I don't know why these dub actors keep like acting like Japan cares about how anime is doing over here. Unless it's like fucking massive, like One Piece or Dragon Ball. They do not care. They don't. There's no Japanese oversight in localization. I don't know how that rumor got started. It's insanity. And they're like, well, yeah, but Ghost Stories failed. I'm going to... Can you give me any Japanese source? I don't mean an American source. I don't mean a source from a news website. I don't mean a fucking YouTuber you saw. Can you give me a source from Japan? Like a Japanese source that says Ghost Stories failed. Give me a source from Japan that is Japanese, in Japanese, that tells me that Ghost Stories failed. Give me a Japanese source. See if Ghost Stories failed. Link it in the description. Link it in the comments. I don't care. Find a Japanese source that says Ghost Stories failed in Japan and didn't do good. You can't. There is no Japanese source saying Ghost Stories failed. It's just a fucking lie. I don't know if Stephen Foster fucking made up that it failed or he misunderstood, but that it's the fucking ego that he is the best dub director. When it's like, buddy, you dubbed Grave of the Fireflies, you dubbed 5 centimeters per second, and you just changed shit because you failed at your fucking job at screenwriting, and you try adding edgy jokes that don't age at all. They're not even fucking funny or edgy anymore. Because you were like in your fucking 50s when you wrote them. And you just fuck with anime for fun. You don't even give a shit. Don't even care for the art, motherfucker. You're a fucking parasite. You leech off other people's work to try and live out this fucking failed dream, and yet you are still applauded for it because you made an edgy dub from 2005 and people are still talking about it, and you think, oh, they just watched the whole show. Buddy, they're not watching your show. They're not buying the DVD. They're watching clips of it on YouTube. They're not buying that shit. Ghost Stories, when it came out, didn't even get bought. The DVDs didn't even get bought. Like, why? Why are we putting up with this? Why? I don't care if a dub is funny. Like, why? We don't need it. And I keep seeing people say to me, well, I'd add slang if it was Japanese slang. And I'm like, okay, there is an essay called The Task of the Translator. It's by a German literary critic. I forgot his name. I might leave the essay in the description if I can find it. And yes, localization is something he goes over, but he also goes over things like language inside language, which basically means universal language. Like language from inside the language that you're translating, and how that leads to language that is somewhat universal around all cultures that anyone can understand. And if you can tap into that while localizing faithfully, just not completely fucking with shit, then you can evolve the work. And it doesn't mean I don't know if he means making it better, like what localizers are doing now. You're just evolving its lifespan into a different country, a different language. You're evolving the work. And you can use slang and stuff, but you can use like universal phrases and shit. Japan has a fuck ton of those. I don't understand why they haven't used them. But that's the kind of shit you can do. There are ways around it. There's a fucking guy in the 40s who said there were ways around it. You refuse. There is a difference between localization and adaptation. And that is where people are getting lost. Ghost Stories is not even a localization. It's a completely different adaptation of something completely different. It's an adaptation. It is not localization. I don't know why I've called it localization all this time. It's just straight up adapting shit in a completely different way. That's not what you're being paid to do. That's not what localization means. Shin-chan is the same fucking way. Panty and stocking, I guess, is somewhat localization, but I just don't think Panty and Stocking is funny. I'd much rather get fucking Gunbusters 3 or Urim Blue or Megazone 2-3 Sin. Shit that's actually cool, and it's not really just a novelty. That's me. It's tiresome. I love anime so much, and yet so much ignorance and idiocy and uneducated people just spewing nonsense, like complete utter nonsense about why dubs will never work, why subs will never work, like direct translation never works. Like, of course it doesn't fucking work. But why do you think fucking professional translators exist? Why do you think there's people whose job it is to translate directly? I don't mean directly by word for word, I mean fucking as close to the original text as possible. You people know that. You know that and you're denying it because you're fucking cowards. And you're just so scared of, like, fucking dubs being changed. I do not give a shit if you watch dubs. I do not care. Just enjoy it in your language. What I do care about is art being changed. What I care about is the expression of ideas being changed. Just don't fucking change it. It's not your job. It's not why you're being hired by Japan. Don't. Like, if people fucking 20 years ago, fucking during Speed Racer, could adapt and still keep the fucking music and still keep the stories and not censor anything, what the fuck are you guys doing? They weren't adding slang. Imagine adding slang about fucking JFK in the fucking Speed Racer. You wouldn't add that shit. So why are we adding shit about Trump and dubs about, like, teenagers trying to get laid? Why are we doing that? It's bullshit. It's just also the fucking... It's just the fan bases. That's what's turning me off, is I keep seeing all these damn cosplay influencers and shit. It's like, God, it's cringe, and I just can't stand it. And I know that anime fans back then were cringe too. It's just never gone away. It's just evolved, and I think I'm cringe myself. I mean, I'm sure my Discord could tell you that. I'm an elitist. I'm fucking cringe as hell. But I'm not going out in public spanking people with yaoi paddles at a convention, or glomping them, or fucking breaking holes in the wall like whole wheat Pete. Or I'm not whoring myself out. I'm not fucking getting my hair pulled while my husband films me. Y'all know that video. I'm not doing any of that shit. I just like animes. That's not wrong. It's cringe. It's just, and that's the other thing. I saw some fucker say Konosuba's funny. You guys just don't get it. I said, I've seen clips of Konosuba. I don't find it funny. I get why people like it, but I don't find it funny. He's like, you just haven't seen a full episode, so you don't know. And I'm like, I have seen so many goddamn clips of this. You do not know how fucking recommendations work on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. I keep seeing this show. It is never funny. No amount of context is making this shit funny to me. I don't know what to tell you. And then I just got called an elitist because I like Legend of the Galactic Heroes and shit. Whatever. That was a good show. I finished all that. Finished a lot this year. I'm trying to go into this is a good transition. I'm trying to get back into shoujo and moe, because I haven't watched that since like fucking, I guess middle school. It was when I was last watching something like Sailor Moon. And it's like, there's something on Twitter going around about this guy saying these are real men's manga. It was shonen. And some chick, I forgot her fucking name, I'm not gonna say it, was like, I hate how shonen fans are always considered the annoying ones. Or shoujo fans are considered the annoying ones when shonen fans can't admit half their manga are marketed towards men. I kindly said in the comments, I haven't read shoujo in quite a while. I'm trying to get back into it. I may be interested. I just read I don't care about demographics. I just read what's interesting. And she proceeds to say, oh, you don't care about demographics, but you don't read much shoujo. That's kind of like the exact point I'm making. It's like, okay, fuck you. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get back into it, and that's all you can fucking think of. Are we not gonna fucking talk about all the fucking numerous influential manga made by women? We're not going to talk about Seizei-san? None of that shit? Like, you are a shoujo channel, it's a josei channel, and you have an entire video about how the manga community is misogynistic, yet you're not talking about some of the most fucking influential, important fucking people in manga, like the author of Seizei-san. It's the first female manga artist. May even predate Tezuka, like by 1 year. I think Seizei-san started in 1946. Why are we not going over that shit? Why are we not going over Gekiga artists who are female and had like such an impact in how manga evolved? And yes, I get it. There are more 70s manga artists. Why are we not going over the 70s shoujo manga artists? Let's go over that. And I'm sure she's gone over shit like Rose Versailles, but let's go over shit like fucking shonen with heavy shoujo influence. Let's go over Area 88. Let's go over Lock the Superman. Let's go over Desert Rose. Let's go over freaking Toward the Terra, which was written by a shoujo manga artist who was a woman. Like, why don't we go over any of that? How come when I literally say I'm trying to get back into shoujo manga, all these people think is, oh, I'm in the wrong because I haven't read it in a while. I'm trying to get back into it. I just haven't read enough of it, guys. Now, she had a video about 7 Seeds, which I've been interested in. I'm not going to watch that video. I guess I'm going to read 7 Seeds now because it looks interesting anyway. I'm going to try to start watching visual novels that have female protagonists. I'm going to try to start doing that shit. Now, I don't know if it's an OCD thing or an anxiety thing. I'm just going to start doing it soon. I'm probably going to watch Air, which is by the creator of Clannad, or the studio that made the visual novels Key. I'm going to try watching that. And it's like, there's so much influential shit these Annie-tubers could go through. And I'm like, I'm sure Mercury Falcon does some of that. And fucking Shabes does some of that. But those people are fucking snarky or just straight up autistic. Shabes was making like some sort of tweet about how we can't get like a remake of One Piece to 300 episodes because it would just ruin the pacing. It's like, I'm not sitting through 1,000 episodes of fucking One Piece, dude. Like, some people don't have that time. Like, so if it's just 300 episodes, yeah, maybe be a little more digestible, and maybe you'd get more fans for your supposed second favorite manga. And I agree with some of his takes, but he also fucking likes localizers, and he works for Discotech. That's another thing. Discotech. I really like Discotech. I like their releases. They're fucking petty sometimes. Like, why have we not fucking got MD Geist yet? Like, that's a classic. I mean, I know people think it's bad, but it's like part of that boom of OVAs people thought were like horror, gore schlock that people would watch and enjoy, like shit like Genocypher and Angel Cop. Fucking Cyber City Odeo 808. I think that's what it's called. Like, Legend of the Overfiend. People enjoy this shit. It's like, why won't you license MD Geist? I mean, it'd be the perfect time to. It's only 2 episodes long. It's cool. It's a cult classic at this point. And Justin Savakis literally said, basically, he's not licensing it because he fucking hated hearing about it Central Park Media. This dude compared it to working on incest and scat hentai compared to fucking MD Geist. Jesus Christ, how fucking ignorant are you? And I mean, no offense to him, he's worked to where he's gotten. And he's releasing lots of good anime. But it's like, why are we letting personal grudges get in the way of fucking anime? I don't know how licenses work. If you can license it, just license it. Just don't refuse to because of some fucking petty personal reason. That's not fucking professional. It's just tiresome. I'm tired of anime fandom. I'm not tired of anime itself. I could watch it the rest of my life. I'm just tired of everything. It's just about the anime fandom and about fucking localization. I'm glad I've moved to like fucking the Japanese side of Twitter because those guys are lovely, even though they're quite eccentric. But they just hear these thoughts and they agree, and it's Japanese are agreeing with this. I know people want to fucking deny it every day, but they're agreeing with it. It's quite beautiful, actually. But like, why are we letting personal shit get in the way of art? That's what I want to know. And like, people are like, all art is inherently political. No, it's not. And like, fucking Mama Roshi said, we don't need to be inserting politics into fucking anime. That's not what I do. And like, yes, I know Pat Labor 2 exists. I watched Pat Labor 2. I fucking love it. It's like, is he pushing a political message in it? No, not really. He's really just using it as a political backdrop for an interesting piece of storytelling. Which is what I think it should be used for. That's what shit like fucking Z-Pong does. And Deep Blue Fleet, like, I get that people don't like shit and they think that like it's some guy made like some fucking video about how Space Battleship Yamato has been right-wing virtual signaling. It's like, motherfucker, there's a flashback to the Yamato in episode 2, and then literally after that, it literally just becomes a space opera anime. There might be some right-wing views, but it's not virtually signaling Japanese to fucking become fucking war criminals. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just taking a symbol of pride from Japan, and Nishizaki and Matsumoto like Yamato, and they're using it to tell a science fiction story. Like, it's nothing remotely traditionalist is even fucking considered traditionalist anymore. It's all alt-right. It's fucking lunacy. It's just like absolute lunacy from the anime community. Fucking absolute brain-rotted fucking idiots. Anthony that fucking Italian guy, made some entire video about why fucking video essays suck for like a fucking hour long. He misunderstands Blade Runner and shit. And he wants localizers too. He thinks they're very important. They're very important people. They can make the work better. It's like, fuck you. It's not your job. It's not what you're doing. You're evolving the work. Evolving does not mean make better. It just means different. Bring out something different, but equally important. It's just, I know I've been rambling for like a long ass time, and I just really, like, maybe at the end of the year, I want to try to start a YouTube channel or something that talks about manga I like and the history of different manga I like and stuff. And there's already plenty of good channels that do that. It's all fascinating. It's all so fascinating. You know, I'm just, it's late at night and I'm fucking tired of fucking localization, fucking culture war bullshit involving Japan. I'm sick of it. I just need to get it all out. And I hope I didn't come across as too venomous, but it's like it's just been eating up at me for so fucking long. I'm tired of really just trying to turn the other cheek to it or be lenient with it. I'm just trying to get all the raw emotional thoughts out. And I'm going to try to start watching and reading a visual novel now. Or watch a visual novel anime and try to play visual novels or read Seven Seeds. That's what I'm going to try to do when I turn this off. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry for ranting for so long. And I'll see you if I ever make an actual video. Goodbye. I'll see you soon.